Now that we've completed step 13, we can now move on to step 14. And step 14 is all about the upper rods. Now, just briefly here, have to go and get the rod ends. These are the LA43s. You can only see, there's only one lot of these, so you can't go wrong. From our bag B, we've got our rods. And also for our bag B, we've got these little inlet balls that go inside here. So what we got to do, we've got to build 2 of the front upper rods, and they have a space of 19 millimeters between the eyes. And the rears, we've got to build 2 of those, and they have a space of 20.5 millimeters. So looks like we're going to have to get the calipers out for the accurate measurements. Anyway, so to get these off, I would recommend getting some flush cutters. And if you don't know what flush cutters are, if you just look, this is no particular brand I recommend, you just get them from Amazon or whatever, but the flush cutters have got a very sharp flush style cutting, so that when you cut your components off, it's nice and sharp. So don't use these on anything else other than plastic. So if you buy a pair, buy a dedicated pair for the plastic. But when you cut, and you cut nice and tight, these are very nice clean cut. Might need to trim that off a little bit with a little bit of a knife, but it leaves a nice clean cut. So you just go around and you cut your eyes off of the tree, and of course any wasted plastic store for another day. There we are. Put your cutters back in like a case so that it protects those, and then carefully get your hobby knife, and if you're confident enough, you can just run your finger over and you can kind of feel and just carefully trim that. So the next stage of this is to pop your ball into the eyelet itself, into the eye. So how I do this, some people could use pliers and squeeze them through. As I have a pair of shock grips and etc. I bought this again on Amazon, quite cheap. I think it was about £10 in the UK. You got this way of putting these in without damaging. So if you kind of look here, use this device and it just pops them in, and it's really quite easy. And I believe there is actually a better side to put this on. I'll quickly show you that in a second on the next one. If you look at the eye, you'll see that one side there's a slight chamfer on the inside edge, and it's that slight chamfer that you place the ball in, and pop your pliers on, and away you go. Now we've done that bit, we now screw them onto the shafts and set the dimensions. So again, as I've got the pliers, shock pliers, and I do recommend getting some of these because they're very good. I mean, these are not an expensive item, but they certainly make life easier. So pop this on the area where it's not threaded, and if you wind on your eyes, you get them on nice and straight, and you know that you're not damaging the shaft with the plier. It's just so much easier. I don't know how I did it before. There we go, and you do that for all of those shafts. So we need to set our caliper for the first ones, and I'm not going to lie, I've set the first ones up already. So what I've done here is, I don't know if you can see on the caliper, just set that to 19 millimeters, lock that off. Okay, so you should see a 19 millimeters, and what I've done is I've twisted these ones until you've got the 19 millimeters in the front. So you've got to just keep twisting and twisting until you get it right. So that's 19 millimeters, and you have to make sure that one of them is horizontal and one of them is vertical. So basically they're at 90 degrees to each other. So they're the front ones, they're 19 millimeters. Now I have to do the same thing, so I now need to set my caliper again, this time to 20 and 0.5. So that is, I know this seems probably a bit overkill and very accurate, but that's, there you are, that is 20.5. Again, log that down so you now know the gap's right. And in case of just twisting this until it's right, so you can see I've gone in too much on that one and I've gone in too much on that one. So just going to undo these. So we now have our front and rear upper rods. Perfect. Move on to the next.